Next up, we are going to hear from Moritz Kaminski from the Bosch IoT Lab. Moritz.
Thank you, Elliot. Hi, my name is Moritz. I'm working at the Bosch IoT Lab, and specifically for Bosch Digital Solutions. And I will tell you something about our perspective when it comes to the Internet of Things and the economy of things. So IoT is basically all about software and connectivity of products like this clicker here or the microphone. But it also comes with challenges like interoperability, security, data privacy, and here is where basically blockchain comes into play because it holds a lot of promises to solve these issues when it comes to data privacy, this interoperability, and that's what basically our talk is about today, where we see us at Bosch. So Bosch is a rather big company. They are active in all kinds of different disciplines in mobility, agriculture, healthcare, industrial services, building technology, and generally energy and storage. They have revenue of around 70 million, 500,000 employees worldwide. And they are really strong when it comes to research on blockchain and Internet of Things. And here I show you basically what their activities are. So when we look at the Internet of Things today, we kind of develop a vision of this economy of things, and there we see 5 big roadblocks to reach this. And in this presentation, I will give you a short overview of each of these and what are our activities. So the first one, digital tokens and contracts. We see blockchain basically as a basis for payments and contracts between humans and machines, but also later on between machines themselves. So when you go through Zurich, for example, what you see is there, in the meanwhile, like there's O-Bike, a company that doesn't sell bikes, but only rents them out based on IoT services. There's Limebike, but also Zürichroll. So there are several different providers of these new IoT services. But with these IoT services, you always have to do a new own account. You have to top up your account. You have to download a separate app. And this is basically where we see as a blockchain, where you have this token mechanisms, which creates a certain stable API for payments, holds a lot of promises. And we at the Bosch IoT Lab, we did some research on it. For example, we developed a sensor as a service where you can basically pay with Bitcoin for a service sensor service where you get then the data back. And another topic was an app where you can build on Ethereum, where you can rent the classical Bosch home appliances like drilling machines, for example. However, we see, let's say, a lot of challenges in this field when it comes to this interoperability, because for each and every and scalability, because for each and every transaction and payment, each node has to verify it, and also because of the latency issues on public blockchains, where you need to reach a certain consensus state, and we've seen that back then there are tons of different apps available, and none of them has reached a certain distribution so far, but within the last months and also like years, we've seen different technologies involving and enabling really new apps on top of this. And this is The visualization of this between the blockchain and the app, where we see new layer 2 technologies coming up. For example, the Lightning Network, as you have probably heard about that, that enables new low latency micropayments, and they are really, really cheap, almost cost nothing. They are built on Bitcoin, enable like these payment channels, which means that each payment is not directly conducted on the Bitcoin blockchain, but routed over adjacent payment channels, and only the results are then shown on the blockchain. Here, this is a screenshot of the test net of the activity on the Lightning Network. In the meanwhile, we have many wallets are also already online and also on the mainnet, and we have, I think, even 5,000 channels around and 2,000 nodes already active on the mainnet. So you see really first traction of this in real world. Another technology is the Peru network when it comes to off-chain state machines. This is based on Ethereum, and I mention it because Bosch has committed to do some development work on it, and to contribute to the open source community by building this Peru network and in our own implementation. But overall, at this economy of things research project that we are working on, we are not necessarily looking only into Bitcoin or Ethereum, but are rather open. Stating here Hyperledger, what we look at Corda, IOTA, Hashgraph, or Byteball, for example. And we really say, okay, there is not necessarily this only technology that fits to this use case, but we say, okay, if there is a use case for blockchain technology, then we also see, does it really make sense to use this technology, and which one is the most suitable one? And then when we selected technology, the distributed ledger technology, we do not only look at the technology itself, but also on the governance, for example, on network effects and on the community, because as you see later, that's also a very important point of this project here. Another, like the second pillar of this is the digital notary, where blockchain basically acts as a basis of registering immutable and certain indisputable information records. And I think you can really imagine blockchain or the Bitcoin blockchain, for example, as a clock where each block kind of displays a second, for example, or a certain time. And this enables everything what is now written on it, enables a certain audit trail, basically. And this audit trail is not now based on a certain authority, but really on provable data. And this is like the new step that what makes a difference, basically. So you can also say that what we have developed here is also a certain second layer technology. What we do here is we write raw data with a salt, we hash it, and write it, and build up a Merkle tree, and only anchor the root of this Merkle tree on the blockchain, and this creates a notarized receipt. And with this notarized receipt and the raw data, now we can show that there has not been any manipulation a priori of this original data set. So we came up here, or what we did is, or we enabled a kind of scalable solution. Now this is publicly variable, so each and everyone can verify with this raw data that this data has existed at a certain point in time by still preserving the privacy. And here, this is also like where can you really use it? And we've built here a service. It's called Certifica. With Certifica, we write or we extract car data basically from your car, from your used car, directly over the OBD interface, or if it's a connected car, then directly over the manufacturer, and hash this odometer value and create this Merkle trees and building up a data history. So we really want to build up kind of a digital twin of your car, where you see the whole history. And when you want to sell your used car now, you can purchase this certificate or generate a certificate and show proof that there has not been any manipulation of your car data. For example, there has no the odometer has not been rolled back before. This is one side, so the certificate. When you want to generate trust in the selling process, and when you want, and this enables you basically to increase the purchase value of your used car. Also, what we provide here is a dashboard where you have a very easy to handle and nicely presented dashboard of your car data with all the relevant data that you can also show, like a digitales Checkheft, for example, all the service dates, the emissions, for example, or the fuel consumption. So this is one, let's say, product. This is almost at the market, and I'm also proud to announce that we started with the landing page this week. So yeah, check it out. Please give us our feedback. The real service now will start within the next 2 months, where you can also access then your car data. So this is one of the first, let's say, blockchain-based services that are soon in the market, as opposed to several others. Then another, let's say, column of these 5 are digital identities as a really basic for economic of things, where you have basically this hardware wallet, and this hardware wallet stores all these attestation and claims, and your identity, your digital identity, is not more provided or any more provided by a, let's say, particular identity provider like a cloud platform, but is managed by yourself. And here you see also this self-sovereignty, this trend, where you can, let's say, manage your own identity. And this identity is basically presented by attestation and claims through third parties, for example. And you can show basically, like, you can manage with whom to share it with. So and the fourth point are economic devices. So you already also here in this economic devices, you also have this identity layer, with basically a hardware wallet. What also can be then, it's not only you that it can be have a hardware wallet, but also then machines where it's applicable. And this hardware wallet then represents the keys. Then you have this economic interface. Typically, as I said, this could be like the Lightning, could be payment channels like through a Lightning network, or template contracts over over Perun auction system that is implemented there. And then on top you have now, let's say, this new layer, this brain, this intelligence, where you now, as the owner of a machine, can bring in this intelligence. So it could be either based on simple rules, then it's very simple, but it could also be derived from your preferences as the owner, from your goals, for example. And one application scenario could be, imagine you own an autonomous electric vehicle driving from Zurich to Berlin, for example, and you don't want to end up without electricity. So what you have here, like preferences, could be, please guarantee that there is always 10% of electricity in the battery. that electricity comes also from renewable energy sources, that I don't have to wait for charging stations, for example, and I want to have a coffee place right next to these. And on the other hand, you also have like the preferences of the charging stations. That could be maximizing all the charging stations, reduce peaks, for example. But all these preferences need to be like negotiated out, and there comes the agent into play. Another example, what Bosch realizes in this field is implementing this on an autonomous carrier in a let's say closed industry environment where different participants, and here we are talking not about like Bosch internal departments, but real companies that are part of the network, and they can bid for this resource, for this independent carrier. And this enables all sort of added values and use cases like decentralized marketplace for products and services through this auction bidding system. You can really reduce your fixed assets, for example, reduce your inventory, and you have then at the end you have this agent-based system that is totally independent and can act as it is like preferred from the owner. And here the goal is basically to support really this production network, to learn from this mutual distributed ledger technology, to really see, okay, which kind of auction mechanism make most sense here. Another example is Quartierstrom. It's a peer-to-peer energy trading platform, basically. And here you see already the first, let's say, micro autonomous market. This project is built at the Bosch IoT lab right now. And so what you have here is that like there are prosumers in the market that produce electricity, but also consume electricity, and they want to sell it and basically optimize their revenue. And within a small village, this market now is enabled via trading this blockchain-based billing mechanisms, and you get this electricity. As a fifth pillar, now really the platforms and the economies. And you have several challenges when you look at this point, when you design these systems, because often these systems, or actually always these systems, start off in a decentralized way, but like these networks are based on individual communications between each other. So, but starting decentralized, and then over time, all the market participants learn how others react, how can I basically maximize my utility. So you have this changing external environment all the time, and what we see is that this often ends up in a very central form or centralized form. However, like when you look at Bitcoin, you have similar challenges, but the real value proposition of this blockchain technology, of this Bitcoin blockchain technology, comes from its decentralization, but they also have the same challenges. For example, when we look at the Bitcoin mining or the commits to Bitcoin core, for example, and the more or the farther away the curve from this yellow diagonal line is, desto the less decentralized it is. So having that in mind, what you see here is these platform provider. They often start decentralized by building up the best service in the market, but really to solve a certain problem. But over time, when they grow, they they got more and more centralized, and they start to extract rent. They start to maximize their revenue, and this means like they reach from a certain corporate standpoint with their developers, with their creators, to a certain competition over time. This transition needs to be closely also, or we need to be aware of it, and we need to know how to deal with it when we come up with these new economies. And Bosch has, as a, let's say, manufacturing and an engineer-driven company, also a very engineer-driven perspective on this. And they do a lot of research on game theory and mechanism design to really understand and analyze the network and its the degree of, for example, distribution and patterns, to really have a very stable network at the end. There they also published a research paper on this topic. So towards the end, I like to share you our mission with Bosch Digital Solutions and with Bosch overall regarding the economy of things. So one part is really this decentralization that we have in mind and we have on our strategy, meaning that we enable these cooperative solutions and want to create alternative to these centralized platform and monopolies in the market. Another point is innovation. Yeah, we want to contribute to new cross-industry and value networks and enhance them by creating new business model, and also evolve, meaning that we want to industrialize complementary new services in the market and extend and establish product-based business model. So at the end of this talk, some recommendations from my side. I think blockchain can be really a differentiator in the market and build up this trust. And I've presented you several technologies and also some applications where Bosch applies and sets this really into practice. Why? Because simply we say that, okay, this new technology enables to process automation and cross-company business transactions, and you can now really close digital contracts and process this transaction and payments now reliably and in a secure way. And I would say that really you as a company, when you are in this field, focus on the technology itself, do experiments, and not focus on the hype of trading and ICOs. But really, if you want to come up with this with an IoT solution focused really on the link between physical and digital world, this is still a big issue. Overall, when it comes to the economy of things, we say that, or we see us as a enabler of decentralization, decentralized marketplaces. And this comes with a lot of new opportunities when it comes to business models. And therefore, I think that, or I can recommend really that start exploring in this field as soon as possible, and not to be disrupted later on. And we would help you, or we would be glad to help you as Bosch Digital Solution on your way there. Thank you very much.